You can click. You have to share the computer sound as well, Amrita. Amrita, please share the computer sound.
Yeah, actually, it was all shared. So it was it not coming?
I couldn't hear it. Can you like start sharing again and share your sound?
Okay, okay.
Amrita, we still can't hear it. Can you unmute if possible?
While progressing in life, at times we feel stuck due to the lack of knowledge of how to manage our time well. Deciding how to prioritize the different facets of daily self management gets helpful, whether it's for school students, university students, or working people. The lack of motivation, a great amount of workload, and the expectations of the academic front in college or at one's workplace is draining for an individual. Under such circumstances, a helping hand can instruct and support us in setting the right direction for our goals. At Mitr, we engage with individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life skills to manage complex situations while enhancing their potential and performance to optimum. Our involvement helps individuals to set the right goals and create options by following an objective process, thereby enabling them to define and manage their priorities. We help them generate self awareness and teach them how to prioritize their time effectively. We also enhance their emotional quotient with techniques like mind mapping and dealing with success and failure to reinforce their goals and processes, while also grooming them with soft skills that are necessary for the competitive selection process, thus making them confident and prepared for success.
About happiness in life. Consider that everything that we do about life and everything that we do in life is all about eventually being happy. Happiness is the ultimate goal of life. Levels of happiness could vary, but the higher the level of happiness, the best it works.
Favorite line that I always, love to talk about, and something that I love to use on myself is also that, there is nothing that can't be worked on, right? Everything in this world, almost everything, right? Almost everything is something that can be worked on, could be, developed, right? Could be improved. We as human beings have such amazing capabilities and capacity that once we identify a certain thing, we can definitely try to improve on the same.
If you're really, if it is paining you, probably it's not your strength area, it's a weak area, right? If maths pain you, probably maths is not your strength area. If you love talking with people, maybe communication is your strength area. So some of these things, you will know it yourself. Further, apart from that, do ask your friends. Please ask your friends, what do you think I'm really good at? And they will tell you, rattle down those 3-4 things that you're really good at. Ask your parents. And sometimes parents also tell, मेरा बेटा इसमें बहुत अच्छा है, मेरा बेटा मैथ्स में अच्छा है, मेरा बेटा दोस्तों के साथ बहुत अच्छी तरह से रहता है. They keep telling these things oftenly without you noticing it. So whatever they repeatedly tell about you, good about you, is your strength area, right? So ask your teachers. Teachers observe you. They see your scores. They see your habits. They see your behaviors. Based on that, they will tell you what you're really good at. Second thing.
So what are the changes that's happened? Things that are looking very different is work from home may continue to be a way of life, because organizations have realized, people have realized that nothing. There are lots of things that can be done as well from home, and possibly better. And those professions will perhaps continue to enjoy the benefit of working from home, if I might call that. Education and training have already gone digital, but there's a lot of scope of improvement. And with that, there would be a lot of training of the trainers that will come into play. We perhaps will not have to travel so much for work, because earlier we used to just take a flight for a 1-hour meeting to Chennai, or for some training session to attend in Dubai. And that's definitely
the way I look at analyzing work, or an analogy to work, is more to do with your mind, where you do your all logical things, your aspirations, everything is logical.
Message here is, we all have our starting points, we have our journeys, and we have our destinations. So today it might look like we're not headed anywhere, but in the end, it will all work out. So there's no need to be disheartened at all, and it is absolutely fine to be an average. The second part of the story goes where it comes about finding your own mojo. While I was an average student, I ensured just one thing. I kept my desire to learn and keep that fire inside of me ignited. Whether it was traveling, meeting new people, or even exploring new cultures, it was all about upskilling myself for me. Although while learning, I didn't really know where that was actually heading to. But then if I were to look back and think and connect the dots, I have the job that I have today only because of the skills and knowledge that
The time tracker app is designed to know where and how can your activities be revised and your time can be used effectively. In the time tracker template, you're supposed to input your activities and the amount of time you have spent on them. Statistical data will be provided on the basis of that, which will help your mentors to take further action. The benefits for working professional are identifying if you need changes in your time management to optimize results, helping you get clarity on goals and creating new ones if needed, identifying what creates positive energy which can be unleashed for you to maintain your work-life balance. The benefits for university students program are identifying if you need changes in your time management to optimize results, helping you identify and work on positive energy creators in your schedule, events, and people as well. Identifying areas for productivity, success, and happiness. The benefits for school students are identifying if you need changes in your time management to optimize results, helping you get clarity on goals and creating new ones if needed, helping you drive the areas of right association, acts, and creating right energy for your preparation, as well as eliminate areas where you can save time and be more productive in your work schedule.
24/7 chatbot access program is designed to help you sort some emergency access and avails you the 24/7 support system with qualified counselors.
The chat box is open to our learners at all times. You can clear your doubts and queries by simply dropping a question here, and we will try our best to answer them as soon as possible and to the best of our ability.
Benefits of the 24/7 chatbot access for working professionals are: it makes your life easier, it makes you stress-free, it helps you to avail expert advice which will help you in life to go further. Benefits of 24/7 chatbot access program for university students are: it helps you minimize the exam stress, it helps in finding out the life goals. Benefits of the 24/7 chatbot access program for school students are: it helps to reduce stress during exams, and it helps to access counseling sessions and different webinars at Mentor Mitr.
Environment questionnaire, a set of questions designed with the aim to know the basis of an individual and works as a base for further action.
This is the questionnaire section. Here, you will be required to provide a few basic information about yourself, such as your current educational status, your future goals, etc. This is just to draw a precursory sketch before you begin your journey with us and our mentors.
The benefits of the environment questionnaire for working executives is knowing your version and work towards making it better. Gap analysis is done to find right solutions, understanding and identifying your needs from the base and working towards it, as well as knowing and identifying your goals and what needs to be done next. The benefits of the environment questionnaire for university students is knowing their version and making it better, bringing you from the zone of concern to the zone of comfort, assist you adequately using your environment and support system, as well as recognizing the needs from the very beginning and working on the same. The benefits of environment questionnaire for school students is knowing their version and making it better with an external expert view, help them leverage their environment and support system to drive them correctly, help them bridge a gap. All the constituents of our program, we also cater to the mental health of an individual, which ultimately helps an individual in case of working executives to affirm their right goals, identify their negative emotions, and create positive affirmations. Flexible counseling help reinforce behavior needed to improve the quality of life, a buddy and mentor who becomes part of your growth journey. In case of university students, it helps them deal with relationships better and put the right perspective, identifies one's negative emotions and worries and creates positive affirmations. Flexible counseling help reinforce behavior needed to improve their quality of life. For school students, it helps them deal with relationship issues better and put the right perspective to what's needed. Flexible counseling help reinforce behavior needed to improve their quality of life. A buddy mentor who becomes a part of their growth journey and understands them when and how it's needed. So, along with all our other constituents, mental health is also considered essential and the issues are catered.
This is the clip from a Rise session that we have every Friday on Instagram. Various IGTV videos from our Rise sessions are available where our experts from various fields have shared their insights with us. Do check out our IGTV on Instagram for wonderful and insightful discussions on various topics ranging from relationship to mental health to leadership and career building.
What does actually 5 a.m. concept mean? And could you please explain this to us in detail?
This concept was popularized or given to us by Robin Sharma. And what the concept is that you wake up at 5 a.m. and you give yourself 1 hour. You divide that 1 hour into 3 segments of 20 minutes each. 20 minutes of exercising, 20 minutes of planning, and 20 minutes of doing some productive work. And it is important to remember that in that 1 hour, we do the work for self-development. We don't do any professional work. We don't check our emails. We don't use social media. We practice only well-being practices that are useful for our wellness and development. That is the main idea of the 5 a.m.
Thank you, ma'am. It was in. So, ma'am, is it practically possible to follow 5 a.m. routine daily?
So earlier, even I used to feel that it's impossible to wake up at 5 a.m. Like, who even does that? But I spoke to a lot of people. I joined a community, and it is possible to wake up at 5 a.m. Of course, in the beginning, it can be very difficult, very tiring, very strenuous. But with practice, it can be, you can ease into it. And it is possible. It is practical.
So, ma'am, could you please point out some advantages of 5 a.m. routine?
So the very first advantage of the 5 a.m. routine is that you get some extra time just to yourself. When you wake up at 5 a.m., most of the people are asleep. So you have that quiet time to yourself. And at that time, you can work on the things which may be a little difficult for you. Or the work where you need a lot of concentration, but you get distracted a lot. So you start talking to someone, or there's a lot of noise around, or you have to attend to someone. So, you're unable to do that work. And that kind of work can be easily done with the 5 a.m. routine because that 1 hour is just for you. I also read a story of an author who used to find it very difficult to write. But when they started with the 5 a.m. routine, they had that time to themselves where they did not get distracted by anything else and they felt so focused. So this is one of the benefits.
A very warm evening to one and all present here. We all welcome you to today's webinar. Today, the date is 21st November, Sunday at 7 p.m. Mentoring versus coaching, understanding the difference. Here, we welcome our 2 speakers, and the webinar is a free webinar, and you also get an e-certificate for the same. Moving ahead, steps to avail the e-certificate are as follows. A, attend the complete webinar. B, when you see thank you on the screen, there will appear a link to Google attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback questionnaire emailed. C, fill the questionnaire when you get on the mail for the details. D, follow our page whether you did or not is also in the questionnaire. If you did and replied in affirmative and actually did not follow our page, you will not get the e-certificate. If all the above stated steps are followed, automatically an e-certificate will be issued online to you. Talking about Mitr, it is a mentoring organization where we take individuals on the journey from where they are, from where they aspire to be. These include various customized programs which cater to one's needs and make sure that they excel in their life. We welcome our first speaker for the day, Ms. Vriddhi Sharma. Vriddhi Sharma is the co-founder of Mitr, an alumna of sociology, honors at Lady Shri Ram College, India. Vriddhi herself has gone through a mentoring process based on Mentor Mitra's philosophy and strongly believes that learning of successful principle is beyond the curriculum as a big enabler. She has documented the whole process that she underwent and done some in-depth research to facilitate pioneering work with her mentor and other co-founders over the past few years. Consequently, she became up with a solution that is ever enveloping students and working executives. She is an avid reader and holds a research orientation as a continuous learner. She is the council member of the Mental Health Council at Women's India's Chamber of Commerce and Industry. She also writes and has championed various projects and ventures, including Can Support Project IEM Power, ICCE initiatives, Social Law National Service Schemes, NSS, Smile Foundation, United Regions Initiative URI, and has gained some experience in the domain of mental health and behavioral science with Fortis. She has been writing for Youth Ki Awaaz and was also featured on various platforms such as Young Influx and the Armchair Journal for her work. Vriddhi tries to firmly support the cause of social justice as well as next slide. Going ahead, we welcome Vriddhi.
Okay, thank you so much for the lovely introduction, Krisha. I couldn't hear you in the middle, so I couldn't really follow up. But today I'll be talking about the differences between mentoring and coaching while also embracing and trying to sort of integrate the differences and coming up with a different approach for the same. So I'll start off by explaining the definitions of the two. Just a second. I think somebody is saying that. Okay, never mind. I'll continue. Yeah. So I'll start off with the definitions of mentoring and coaching to enlighten you all. Mentoring essentially fosters a relationship between two people. So here the relationship is a professional one, and it's between a mentor and a mentee. And here the primary aim is to facilitate the personal as well as the professional growth of the person concerned here. And the mentor is a seasoned veteran. You can say a person with a lot of expertise in a particular field, and their knowledge and the experiences that they impart to the mentee is what kind of constitutes the entire relationship and aspect of mentoring. So here, not only this knowledge, experiences, and expertise is imparted, but a lot of skills and values are provided in this professional relationship between the two people concerned. And what's unique to mentoring is the very fact that it's a two-way process. So it involves a mentor and a mentee. It doesn't involve anybody else. And one more thing I would say is important here is that the mentee is the one who reaches out to the mentor to seek their counsel and advice. So the area, or you can say field, that they wish to aspire to pursue. And on the other hand, coaching, we can say by definition, is kind of similar to mentoring, but it differs, slightly because it helps you, like the coach here, the person concerned here, imparts knowledge, and it's a one-way process. It's not a two-way process. It's not like a process of engagement like mentoring. It's a one-way process, and it can also be concerned either with an individual or a cohort. And that's what makes coaching very unique. And the knowledge learned here is not, you can say, by and large concerned with the individual, but with a specific goal in mind, say to impart certain knowledge during a specific course of time. So that's the nature of coaching, and this is how it kind of differs from mentoring. They're not very unique to one another because they both, combined, they facilitate the entire process of personal and professional grooming, growth, and development. So that's what I wanted to highlight in the definition aspect. Then moving on to the differences, now I'd like to cover three facets here. First is of the goals, and second is of the approach, and third is of the methodology between mentoring and coaching. So mentoring essentially helps you identify an individual need. since I mentioned that an individual has to, actively seek out a mentor to seek their counsel and guidance to further their, career prospects and growth, and seek the right kind of counsel and knowledge with regards to the same. So the mentoring process involves a lot of road mapping with the support, guidance of the mentor concerned here, and helps an individual come up with some tracks, options to achieve those goals that are in mind, or the desired ends that have been kept in mind. And one thing that's really holistic about mentoring is the very fact that it doesn't only focus on helping the individual concerned achieve their desired ends, but also transforms the person entirely into a different being. And it's not just, that's why I talk about it as something that helps you facilitate personal as well as professional growth. So that is unique to mentoring only. And it kind of moves ahead with a very solution oriented approach. So an individual reaches out to, like a mentee reaches out to a mentor, and they're seeking counsel, say, not just in the entire field that they wish to pursue, but a specific area, or they're trying to explore their options in the particular field. So they're asking the mentor for their counsel, expertise, and solutions are provided, and a sort of orientation is also built during the course of mentoring between the mentor and a mentee. So these are the kind of goals that are kept in mind when we talk about mentoring. And moving on to the coaching aspect, and since we're talking about goals here, coaching particularly fosters an action plan. And here, as I mentioned earlier as well, specific ends are supposed to be achieved. So the goals are not concerned with the individual, but they are kept to just solely impart knowledge. So here the focus is on desired ends. While you can say personal growth can be a part of it, but it's not entirely something or holistically done during the course of coaching. And the process happens, there's a process and there's a specific limitation as well. So the main difference between mentoring and coaching here is that mentoring can be long-term, and the duration is also set by the mentor, between the mentor and the mentee. So that's something they decide, and it kind of honors the individual goals that a person has in mind. But coaching is very short term and it's limited. So I can give you an example of, say, academic coaching, right? So while we're, pursuing our academic interests, say we have to coach for certain exams, right? Those exams are supposed to be held on a specific date. So you have to seek the coaching before that period. You have to be, exceedingly prepared, and you should know your strengths and weaknesses before you appear for the exam. So coaching is facilitated during that course, and mentoring can be long-term because there's no end to mentoring. But again, like, people try to strive to, so the person, like the mentee concerned here, has to set the goals for themselves and the deadlines as well. And the second aspect of the difference that I'd like to cover is of the approach. So I briefly mentioned that mentoring essentially happens to have a very holistic approach. The mentor focuses on helping you further your professional as well as personal growth. So it's transformational all in all. And we can say that a mentee's decisions, choices, and aspirations are put on a pedestal here. So the concern is not just with the desired end, but also with the choices and aspirations of the mentee. So that is the difference in a mentoring approach. And we can say there's also a structure and a framework as to how we can move ahead with it. So for example, at the moment, I'm here to venture out my opportunities in the field of psychology. I am very convinced that I will be pursuing behavioral science or behavioral psychology, and I would like to further my interest in the field. But I haven't pursued or maybe explored some other domain of psychology, and I don't know if I really possess the interest, aptitude, or capacity to actually pursue it. When you connect with a mentor, this is something that you happen to explore. You happen to realize that there are a lot of options beyond what you think there are, and there are other domains to explore within the spectrum of the field that you wish to go for. So this is the kind of gap, or you can say this is the kind of understanding that a mentor imparts to you. And this is what makes the entire approach of mentoring very unique and very holistic. And it, fosters self-development. Of course, I've emphasized on this point a couple of times. And one aspect in this approach is that a mentor is a professional, and on the other hand, a coach, you can say, is a person who is there specialized to help you specialize in a specific field or maybe a specific area of a field. So there's a little difference there, but we can say that, the focus of coaching can be also on a collective goal. Mentoring is very unique and very, you can say, limited to an individual goal. The collective goal here can be to help all students in a class achieve the goal of passing their exams with good grades, say in an institution, or it could be in a school, or wherever. So again, it can be in a group setting addressing a cohort, or on an individual level. And yeah, these are the three facets that I wanted to particularly cover. We can, I think, move on to the next slide. Yeah, okay, so one thing that I missed out was the methodology in the differences. Anyway, I'll just kind of cover it before moving on. You can go back to the previous slide. So the methodology of mentoring essentially constitutes three aspects. The first aspect is of identifying the need or the goals of the mentee concerned. So here goals are set for the individual, and a mentor helps you establish those goals, make them very cemented and concrete, and the mentor also helps you organize and implement those goals in a very robust fashion so as to know whether you're moving in the right direction. And they also, like, a mentor can also help you provide some space for course correction. So that's something that you don't receive with coaching, because coaching is specific to the task concerned, not to the individual. And the methodology in coaching, particularly, you can say, focuses on the action plan aspect of it with sessional implementations. So you say, again, in the case of preparing for a competitive exam, right? There we have a series of tests that we have to give, and we have to be prepared with certain concepts, theories, and certain doctrines that have to be completely imbibed. So in order to attest the knowledge that you may have, that you acquire from the coach during the course of coaching, you also have to seek a couple of assessments. So the sessional implementation is through the assessments that I'm talking about here, and there is scope for improvement. Same goes for mentoring, of course, like, there is a performance aspect attached to it. And you're also, you can say, you're not seeking assessments there in particular, because that's something that's unique to coaching. And coaching is just a one-way process. And that's something that's, you can say, absent in the case of mentoring. And here, the thing is about coaching, the outcome is very specific. And you know where you're starting, what are the gaps in between, and the coach is there to help you fill those gaps and reach to the outcomes that you wish to achieve. But in the case of mentoring, the route or the path that you may have taken in the beginning can be altered completely by the end of the process. So that is the holistic nature of mentoring. I think I've emphasized it a couple of times, and these are the three differences that I really wanted to, you can say, touch upon. Then I would also like to, we can move on to the next slide. Talk about why mentoring, okay, so first I'd like to discuss some commonalities and then move on to this fourth point. So some commonalities between mentorship and, you can say, coaching is that both of them facilitate an overall achievement of greater goals, right? So greater goals as in terms of your career. So they help you streamline the process of your career through a very process-driven approach. The process can alter in the case of mentoring, but with coaching, it's very specific, and it doesn't alter. There's no flux there. And one thing that's really common to both is that the individual bears the onus to actually take the responsibility and venture out their options, make sure that they're following the process that has been prescribed by the mentor or the coach, and achieve it. Especially in the case of coaching, because the coach is not entirely concerned with the individual. So you have to really focus on improving your performance, seeking feedback from the coach actively. The mentor, because you've reached out to a mentor to begin with, takes the responsibility to help you and becomes a buddy sort of a person. So that's something that this is the philosophy that we happen to also preach and practice in at Mentor Mitra. So it's like the whole idea is to help an individual as a friend to realize where they to bridge the gap between where they are and where they aspire to be. And these are the main aspects of it. And the other aspect of the commonality I think you would say is of capacity building. So here, not just like, your capacity is not just built with respect to your, say, academic or professional concerns, but also as an individual. So as I mentioned in the beginning as well, it's very transformational. And there's a rapid formation. Of course, it's in the case of both. But for mentorship, the rapid formation is stronger because it's a one-on-one relationship. And in the case of a coach, it could be, you can say, the rapid formation base could be pretty strong, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, especially a cohort is concerned. And collaborative efforts are, of course, made to implement certain goals that are set and to get them organized and corrected through course correction and achieve the desired ends, you can say. And one thing that we achieve out of this is overall grooming of the person. So it's really up to you how much you wish to imbibe from the mentor as well as from the coach, and what are your learnings with regards to the same. Why mentoring and coaching are not casual processes? Yeah, so I would really like to emphasize this point because given that I come from a collectivist society and particularly in the context of South Asian region, we have a tendency to seek advice from our peers, friends, and family members, say relatives, and so on. And that is something that you cannot really mentorship. You can't compensate that for mentorship or coaching per se, because coaching and mentorship is provided by qualified people. But it's very common here. It's a learned behavior, and we're socially conditioned to seek advice from people who are family, who are close to us, and we take it as professional advice, and then later we regret it. Okay, I took this decision because my father encouraged me to do this, but they only had limited knowledge, and that's something that we need to realize. That's something that we really need to realize, because it's not a casual process. The entire process of mentoring or coaching, it's a long-term or short-term thing that has to be facilitated with the help of a qualified professional. And people have very misconceived notions on the same. So I just wanted to debunk that through the commonalities that I've previously highlighted, and also through the fact that mentors are, since I mentioned in the beginning, they're professionals, they're experts and veterans in their respective fields. So we also happen to have a lot of mentors at Mentor Mitra who are in different fields, ranging from engineering, medicine, to HR, psychology, and so on. So you can get in touch with us and connect with the right kind of mentors for your steady career growth. And yeah, so this is the aspect that I really wanted to highlight. And one reason you should or you would reach out to a mentor or coach is because of their competency and their demonstrated history and track record of that competency and expertise. So that's something that a family member or maybe a relative cannot provide to you. It's something that you really need to realize. And I feel that, why we really lack quality mentors, or you can say qualified mentors, is that there are not a lot of professionals available, or we're not aware of the knowledge. We don't happen to possess the knowledge of specific experts or professionals in different fields. So that's something we need to actively seek out, and actively seek out those mentors and coaches that I'm talking about. And we lack an understanding as to who can give us this kind of knowledge with regards to our career or life or anything that we wish to pursue. And since I mentioned it's, I think somebody, okay, anyway. So, and there's also a dearth and dispersion of professionals. So by that I mean is that they're saturated in one area. People who are working in one area. So it's a little difficult to reach out to the right kind of people. You have to actively take the responsibility of doing that and reach out to the right kind of people for this purpose. And I also wanted to talk about how mentoring and coaching as two processes are undermined. So what we need to understand here is that they provide a very holistic grooming, and they also help us streamline the process of personal, professional, as well as career development in ways that we cannot really understand now, but we need to actively seek it out and understand why. So yeah, that's the fourth point that I wanted to highlight. Mentoring and coaching in academics and work. Okay, so about this, it's because, again, we lack the understanding of who is the right mentor or coach, or who is the right person we can reach out to. And because of this dearth of understanding, we happen to say, in the context of workplace, we happen to assume that our boss is our leader. Or if it comes to academics, in the academic sphere, we perceive our teacher or maybe the principal as a leader. But it's just not restricted to that. We need to know what kind of knowledge we need to seek from them, and how we're going to use that knowledge to our benefit and apply it for the future. So mentors are not bosses. Mentors are not just your leaders, but mentors are people who have, mentors and coaches, both of them, are people who have some professional knowledge and specialization in their respective fields. So this realization in the academic as well as academic sphere, as well as at workplaces, is really important. And I know it's very uncommon to have a professional mentor, even at a workplace, even after, say, sometimes we see people who work in a domain for a long period of time, but they still don't happen to know the scope of their domain, or how much they can progress into it. So mentors and coaches are people who have, like, you can say, a level of competence as well, to show that, okay, these are the things that we have achieved, and this is how we're going to progress in the future. So they're very sure about how they're also progressing. And if you identify somebody like a coach or a mentor who happens to possess these qualities, then they could be someone who could counsel you, or you could actively seek advice from. And the thing is that mentors and coaches, sometimes in spheres like educational institutions, or in sports, or maybe some other performing arts, it's easier to find them because these are unique fields, and not a lot of people have academic interests or interest in sports or performing arts and so on. So, there are certain individuals who can help you roadmap your options, who can help you even explore your options. But the thing is that we need to understand that there are professionals out there who can help us, and find ways in which we can integrate the learnings, their expertise and their knowledge into our life, in order to streamline the processes of our steady career growth, as well as personal and professional growth. So this is all I had to talk about with regards to mentoring and coaching. I also kind of wanted to integrate the two in a way. So as you can see, I highlighted in the fourth and the fifth point. And thank you so much, everybody. That's all I had to say. Oh, Krisha?
Yeah, thank you so much, Riddhi. Now moving ahead with our webinar, we have Mitr's website. You guys can revisit this website, www.mentormitr.com. The website contains all the informations ranging from our programs to our mentors to what we give and what we have. Please do visit our website. It's just a click away. Moving ahead, we have Mitr's courses. We have programs for working professionals, school students, as well as university students. Program for working professional includes Compass Pro course. The duration for the same is 1 month of engagement. The mission is to help you set right directions and course correct your ongoing journey. There are various customized features such as time tracker, 24/7 chatbot facility, free access to webinar during the month, analytical report based on the above stuffs, and so much more. Moving ahead for programs for university students, there is Compass course for direction setting, 1 month of engagement. There is time tracker, more features like 1 month free access to webinars, 24/7 chatbot access, flexible counseling sessions with mentor for total 2-hour time in a month, competitive ability mapping, psychometric assessment as well. Talking about school students, we have 1 month of engagement of campus co-course for direction setting, 24/7 chatbot facility, continuous support, free access to the webinar for 3 months, time tracker, traction options, template, competitive ability, and environment mapping as well. We have counseling session based on psychometric assessment. Here is our link to the Mentor Mitr's app, and there is Mentor Mitr's app which you can download from the Play Store as well. Scan to download our app. Here is our QR code for this game. Quickly grab your phones and download our app. Presenting our app, our Mentor Mitr's app. The app is available on Play Store. You can download the app for now only on Android. Third, the download is free of cost, but the programs here are paid. App is available in India, Philippines, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Italy, Malaysia, Nepal, Russia, Spain, Thailand, and will be launched in other countries soon. Kindly download our help app and get help in your career. If you have any queries with the app, please feel free to contact us or drop a mail at contact@mentormitra.com or connect@mentormitra.com. We welcome you, Mr. Feroz. Mr. Feroz is a native of Uzbekistan who did his Bachelor of Arts in English Philology from Samarkand State Institute of Foreign Languages. He furthered his study by winning a state-funded scholarship for pursuing studies, a 2 years master course at the University of Pune, India. He has been a winner of multiple awards, both domestically and internationally. One of the most remarkable achievements was in China when he was awarded the Best Tessot Teacher Award of the year 2014. He is a philanthropist by nature, so he has committed himself to volunteering, public engagement both at home and abroad, physically and remotely. He has become an international ESL, EFL instructor due to his extensive teachings abroad and his international teaching qualifications. Since 2020, he has firmly established his online presence across various international platforms as a successful public speaker. We welcome you, sir. Please enlighten us.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be a speaker on an international platform, Mitr. I'm one of the time-honored and loyal speakers of Mitr. And today I'm going to talk about something really interesting, which closely resonates with the name, mission, and vision of Mitr, which is mentoring, coaching, and the difference. Before I proceed to my presentation, I'd like to give some kudos to my co-speaker, Ms. Verdi Sharma, on her comprehensive presentation in regard with the in-depth analysis of today's really timely and relevant topic. Next slide, please. Okay, as you can see, these three pretty ladies have some message for you, which kind of encapsulates my message of today's presentation, and also the entire mentorship and coaching, which has to be easy, visual, and clear. Let me see in the chat box how much you are engaged about today's presentation. Please show me some emojis in the chat box. Let me check it out. Let me see how much passionate you are about today's event. I'm looking for the chat box now. Let me see if you're active there. So the answers keep coming a little late, but anyway, we can proceed now. Next slide, please. All right, so here is the contents and the outline of what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to briefly touch upon the following points. The first one is need of mentoring. Why do we need mentoring? The second one is the difference between mentoring and coaching. Next one, please. Thank you. Now the emojis keep coming. Okay, next one is how can a good mentor help you enhance your self-esteem and performance? And last, the importance of qualified and casual mentoring, partly associated and related to what my co-speaker Vritti Sharma mentioned in her presentation. Now let's proceed further, please. Okay, thank you. This man does not need any further introduction, does he? He is none other than Robert Kiyosaki. And I would like to introduce you to his well-known quote about mentors. He said, your mentors in life are important, so choose them wisely. This quote alone summarizes my entire presentation and the key message that I'm about to deliver in the coming slides. Next, please. Thank you. Before we proceed further, let's get down to basics. First things first, like who is a mentor? If you look up the dictionary, there are multiple variations of definitions of who the mentor is. But the one which I found very close to my philosophy, to my mentality, is by the Oxford Languages Dictionary, which says mentor is an experienced and trusted advisor. Ladies and gentlemen, let's pay attention to those key words. Experience. You know, sometimes we may look up to some people who are less experienced, but still regard them as a mentor. But maybe that person is not really a mentor. And the second key word is trusted. Sometimes we may look up to the celebrities, to some idols. You know, we may adore them. There's a like celebrity worship syndrome going on among the fans, but maybe they're not the mentor. Maybe they're not the one that we may trust. And the final word is the advisor. Not everyone can be advisor. So let's recap those three key words: experience, trusted, and an advisor. That's who the mentor is. Next, please. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, now please look at this slide, which summarizes the ways how you can benefit from mentoring. But I like to highlight three key areas which are more relevant to the pandemic era. Especially in the pandemic era, lots of people have lost their direction in life. They have lost their life purposes. They felt like they were totally dispatched, or they were disconnected from the real world. So we kind of stuck in the virtual world for more than 1.5 years already. A lot of people were emotionally vulnerable in this period of time. Another point is success. Perhaps some of you might feel less successful at work, next to your colleagues, at school, next to your classmates, or just in the family, next to your siblings. You might feel yourself like a black sheep in the family. Who knows? And the most important thing, how you can benefit from mentoring, is the motivation. Motivation is what we look up to the mentors. Imagine a mentor is just like a sun that shines above us with the light and energy. Literally, it's like enlightening us and empowering us. This is the true definition of mentoring and mentorship. Next, please. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to have some interactive activity with you. Look at those two pictures, A and B. Before I proceed to the next slides, I'd like to clarify with you the difference between mentoring and coaching, because these are the key words of today's topic. So in the chat box, please kindly type the letter A or B. Which one is mentoring and which one is coaching? Now I'll turn to the chat box and let me check out your responses. So which one do you think is mentoring and which one is coaching? A or B? All right, the answers keep coming a little late. The responses keep coming a little late, but let's hope for a quick response soon. Yeah, we have the first answer from Amor. A is mentoring. Okay, A mentor. Perfect. Right. Okay. You're right. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Lots of kudos to all of you who said A is mentoring and B is coaching. Exactly. A is mentoring. What is mentoring? Mentoring is when you provide your knowledge and know-how and expertise to someone to literally give a hand to raise the person up. But coaching is more of dealing with a professional case in which you are interacting with a client, with a customer, to provide some mentorial guidance in order for the client to reach their full potentials. And this is how there is a subtle distinction between coaching and mentoring. The answers keep coming. Thank you very much for your engagement. I just love it. Next slide, please. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to show you some more relevant and pertinent examples from our day-to-day lives. What is meant by mentoring? Everyone almost knows what TED Talks videos are. I'm one of the fans, and next week I'm going to a real TED Talks, to the offline event. I was invited as a speaker, a keynote speaker. So we've seen lots of TED Talks videos. Those are super powerful and super motivational. Or there might be some of you in the audience who are watching motivational videos on YouTube. This is one of my hobbies, actually. I spend lots of time YouTubing, watching videos on YouTube, and most of the videos I watch are of motivational genre. And last but not least, like, we look up to our teachers most of the time, the university teachers, the college teachers, teachers of all kinds, the language teachers. We look to them as our mentors. These are day-to-day simple examples of what mentoring may look like in our everyday life. Next slide, please. Right, while browsing the net for different kind of pictures for mentoring, you may come across illustrations of an unthinkable type. But this one really struck my attention. It caught my attention because it sums up the very essence of what mentoring is like. Look at the picture. There's a lady in front. She's like a leader, and she has a torch. She's a torchbearer. So these two facts, these two elements simply and powerfully defines the role of mentor and what mentoring is all about. Next slide, please. Now, I'd like to invite you to take a look at some other examples of what coaching may look like in our day. For example, on top, you can see a health coach, and next to it, it's a career coach, and then there is a relationship coach, a personal coach. So coaching is more like a profession. It's a profession that people are professionally occupied, and they get paid for that. This is an activity, a professional activity. Next slide, please. This person, is so famous. He's the founder of the Virgin Group, Mr. Richard Branson, a British magnate. He said, if you ask any successful business person, they will always have had a great mentor at some point along the road. He's a businessman, he has a business mindset. So his quote was more of from a business perspective. But I'd like to add a different dimension to this quote, that mentorship or coaching is not all about business. Like my co-speaker mentioned, it is more of a holistic, inclusive, continuous, and professional endeavor. Next slide, please. Now, I'd like to invite you to take a look at some other examples of how mentorship can look like. I believe most of those viewers today are familiar with a hit song by Westlife, You Raise Me Up. This is such a popular song. So these two pictures are really raising someone up, like climbing up the stairs, or just like, you know, watering the flower to let it grow. This is how mentorship may look in our day-to-day life. Next slide, please. Right. Now, I'd like to talk about how mentorship can enhance our self-esteem and performance. Look at the picture. And on your right, there are three key words: worth, abilities, and self-respect. What do I mean by that? You know, by definition, self-esteem is when there is a subjective evaluation of one's worth, abilities, and self-respect. It's a very much idiosyncratic notion. What do I mean by idiosyncratic? It is very much peculiar to an individual because different people have different self-esteem. Someone may have low, high, or inflated. It all depends on your personal characteristics, your individuality, your idiosyncrasy. And that's why, you know, mentorship can come into play when you're having a low self-esteem. Or even imagine you have a high self-esteem, but still, do you think you may feel a need for a mentor's advice? Yes, why not? Because most of the time, people, you know, get really inflated with what they are doing. They may start, you know, bragging about their achievements, about their accomplishments, and that's when they may get distracted from their course of action. They may get derailed from their path, from their righteous path of motivation. And this is how, and this is why the timely mentorship advice and guidance may come into play. Next, please. Right. And how does the mentorship can have an impact on the performance on the performance of an employee or a person in general, or a student? I believe there might be some students watching us tonight. You know, there are different kind of companies, and each company sometimes may either have some reward mechanism or performance appraisal in place or not. And most of the times, unfortunately, this reward mechanism or performance appraisal may not be systematic. So obviously, this may discourage the employees. And that's why, like my co-speaker mentioned, this is a continuous process in which you may seek an alternative guidance from your mentor, from your coach, to further develop yourself professionally. This is how the mentorship can enhance your performance. You can get, you know, performance appraisal not only from your employer, or not someone who is supervising you, who is leading you, but also, you know, simultaneously, you are given some alternative choice, which may be even more effective than the one which is offered to you. Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, if you remember, my co-speaker mentioned about casual mentorship. Yeah, this is becoming pretty much a phenomenon. This is becoming pretty much a common reality in our days, especially with Generation Z, or shortly known as Gen Z. You know, I am a teacher, a full-time teacher myself by profession, and most of the time I have to interact and communicate with my teenage students. And sometimes I notice something going on with them. You know, personally, I approached one of my students and asked it if he had any mentor in life, and his answer really shocked me. He said, "Yes, I do have one, and he is my classmate." You know why I was shocked by his answer? Because we have misuse of the actual definition of what the mentor is in real life, especially among the youngsters, the Gen Z, because they started looking up to their peers, to their friends as their mentor. And when I asked it, like, what was really so much attractive and appealing about his friend, he said his English skills, his friend's English skills was better than his skills. So that was the only reason why he admired his classmate, and he looked up to him as his mentor. So mentor is not such a casual term. Mentor should not be interchanged with an idol worship or celebrity worship, or someone you admire a lot. This is a totally different concept. You may have a neighbor to admire, a relative, a family friend, a religious leader, a teacher, a coach, a camp counselor. You just name it. All of them cannot be a professional mentor at some point of your life. And I'll tell you why in the next slide, please. Yes, now look at this picture. Imagine you're going on this path, on this endless long road. And imagine you have a casual non-professional mentor in your life who is giving you some guidance. His or her guidance is just like, showing you the direction, but not telling you what the destination is, how this road is going to end, how, when, and where. There are no clues at all. You are just shown the direction, because this is what all about the casual mentorship is. Now, let me show you what is the professional mentorship in reality. Next slide, please. Professional mentorship is like you have a travel bag, you have an air ticket, and you have a clear destination. You are taking a flight to New York, to the megalopolis city of the world, to the melting pot. So you have a clear destination in mind. You are taking a flight which takes you there across the Atlantic Ocean. You're not going, just like a Christopher Columbus, who accidentally discovered America. He thought he was going to discover India, but he ended up discovering a different place, So this is almost the same thing. If you don't have a clear route, clear destination in mind, you will be lost. And that's what a casual mentorship versus professional mentorship is. Thank you. Next. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to conclude my brief yet entertaining presentation with a quote. And she's the person I admire a lot, not just because she is one of the best, if not the best TV host in the entire history of American television, Oprah Winfrey. She's a great individual, a personality with a great humility. She has lots of great quotes, but I chose this one for today's presentation because this sums up my final message to all of you. A mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself. Hope means light, and light is something we need every day. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful. Now we move on to the question and answers. We have first question for Miss Vritti. The first question goes like, how can someone be a good mentee?
Okay. To be a good mentee, you have to be an active learner. So you've taken the onus of reaching out to the mentor concerned and seeking the right kind of guidance, knowledge, and support from them. So take action and responsibility for the work that is prescribed with regards to, whatever you wish to pursue, and fulfill the objective. Fulfill the objective of, realize why you sought out that mentorship to begin with, and fulfill the objective by completing the mentoring process. Be curious about different options in the field, explore your opportunities as well, venture out whatever you possibly can, and know more about your tracks and options with respect to whatever we wish to seek counsel for. And don't hesitate to ask questions. Don't be afraid to receive any sort of critical or I would say constructive feedback as well. And lastly, be committed to what you're doing and what you aspire to pursue. That's one way that can, that's one thing that can definitely help you become a good mentee.
Thank you so much, Riti. Now, next question is for you, sir. The question goes like, how can both mentoring and coaching help in unlocking someone's potential?
Thank you very much for the question. I was showing in the presentation that there's a clear distinction between what mentoring and coaching is in reality. We may look up to some individuals, especially, coming from our South Asian culture and mentality. We mostly tend to look to the elders for, for some kind of wisdom or advice. And this is a process, a continuous process that has been going on since we were a child. And up until now, past our maturity age, we still keep looking up to other people around us in our society, to our professors, to our teachers, to some great individuals, like later on, if you find any work, to our employers, to our bosses, or somebody else. The process, the continuous process of mentorship and mentoring goes on, either formally or informally. We have seen different examples of what mentorship may look in our everyday life. But coaching, on the other hand, it's more of a professional activity. You see, people are professionally occupied to work on a certain problem and try to help the client at hand to reach their full potential, because they commit themselves to the person at hand. For example, if I'm a mentor, if someone approached me as her mentor, I may not commit myself. Just like now, imagine lots of people are watching us live across different parts of the globe. We are presenting some ideas about mentorship. Probably we are also, acting more like a mentor to them, but we're not really committing ourselves to them. We're not really tackling their personal individual problems apart from answering their individual questions. This is a different thing. It's the same like, answering individual question is more like mentorship, but sitting down with the person, dedicating your time, committing yourself, and professionally tackling the person's problem is coaching. This is how these two can go hand in hand. You can have a mentor and a coach in life simultaneously, and they're not going to contradict each other. They are just going to fulfill each other, because this is a continuously fulfilling process. If you have both of them, it's just like having the best of both worlds. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to go ahead and ask one of the last question to Vritti. Vritti, what would be one of your last piece of advice for our audience?
Okay, last piece of advice. I would say that know what you wish to really aspire for. Know what you're really seeking out there, because seeking mentorship and seeking the right kind of coaching only becomes effective and only holds any sort of value when you know what you're striving for. So if you have certain ends in mind, or if you wish to even explore those ends, it's okay, take your time, but know what you're there aspiring for, because then only a coach or maybe a mentor would be able to help you in that case.
Thank you so much. Sir, would you like to weigh in?
Sure. I'd like to take on what my co-speaker said about knowing your goals in life is essential in achieving any goal. It's like I've shown a very good example of a person, traveling aimlessly and endlessly, but never reaching the destination, just because there is no destination. A destination is a symbolically, it is the goal, the final juncture to which you want to arrive at. But if you have that goal, On top of that, having a clear goal, you also need to have a commitment. I love the word commitment because I am a committed person myself by nature. Whatever I do, despite the challenges and hardships. For example, 2 months ago, I started an association. Nobody trusted, nobody believed in me, but I became a founder, and I gained international recognitions for the volunteering endeavor that I've been doing, just because I committed myself fully to what I am doing. So imagine you have a goal, you have a mentor, you have a coach who are going to help you side by side. But if you're not a committed person, if you can't find commitment within yourself, then neither, coach nor mentor, and also your goal cannot help you at all. Because commitment is like the power that drives you forward. So you have your goal, you have the guidance of both the coach and mentor, but now you need to accelerate. You need to put your foot on the gas pedal. And that gas is the commitment. If you have the commitment, I'm sure you will achieve all your goals in your life. That would be my kind suggestion to our tonight's viewers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Ruti. Now, I would like to end this and thank all of our audience and speakers. Before ending it, I would like to again repeat the steps for e-certificate. Can I have the screen? The steps to avail the e-certificate are as follows. A, attend the complete webinar, which you have done. B, when you say thank you on the screen, a link for attendance form will be presented. Fill that. Fill the questionnaire you get on email for your details. Follow our page. Whether you did or did not is also in the questionnaire. Kindly please follow and then only reply in affirmative. Otherwise, we won't be able to generate an e-certificate to you. Moving ahead. You can always get in touch with us on any of the social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook. You can visit our website www.mentormitr.com, or you can email us at contact@mentormitr.com. We will make sure we respond to each and every query of yours and guide you throughout the right journey. Thank you for attending the webinar, one and all. I again thank the speakers. I again thank the beautiful audience who spared their time and